Hello, ladies, and welcome to Put Your Feet Up and Relax This Christmas, how to enjoy a stress-free Christmas without breaking the bank. My name is Emily Thorpe from Happy Working Mum, and I'm here with Taryn Hunt, and today it is our intention to give you all the tools, top tips, strategies so that you can have a stress-free Christmas, because we know it's a pretty stressful time of year. And we also know that it's kind of the mums that do the lion's share. Well, it is in our family anyway. It's the mums that do the lion's share of the work. So I'll just hand over to Taryn to give you a quick hello, and then I will carry on with the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, a quick hello from me. So I'm Taryn Hunt and I'm founder of Empowering Business Mums. I help mums to juggle everything. So when you're juggling the school run and all the kids clubs and the lunch boxes and everything to do with your family, as well as everything to do with your small business. So being backbone of the household for mum, and also being all of those departments of your business, the accounts department, the marketing department, you do everything. So I help you to balance everything and create a successful business.
Brilliant, Taryn, thank you. And my business is Happy Working Mum, and I help mums to have stress-free, guilt-free life, to get rid of the overwhelm and stop feeling tired and have time to enjoy their kids and their family. So the way we're going to play it today is we've got various topics and we're going to take it in turns. So it's quite relaxed, quite informal, but hopefully you'll get loads of content out of it and make this the best Christmas ever. I hope that you will be on Christmas Day sat there with your glass of Bucks Fizz listening to some tunes, and it's all going to be going perfectly around you. So just to start off with the worst case scenario, we've all had those horrendous Christmas stories. I know quite a few myself, where it doesn't go as planned, and basically the main problem is that we haven't planned it, or we've left it too late, and then we get into this panic mode and we get very stressed, and it's all kind of building up. The to-do list is just off the page. And I saw this Facebook post the other day, and it was a little cartoon, and it said, "Dear Santa, please can you bring me a nice fat wallet and a nice slim body, and don't get it the wrong way round like you did last year." And that just made me think of numerous Christmases I've had where come January, I look at my credit card bill or my bank account and go, oh my God, I have spent too much money. And oh my God, I get on the scales and I've eaten too much food. And that's all due to not planning and not having strategies in place so that you can carry on your routine. You need to be able to, maintain your exercise routine and, eat healthily and not spend too much money. And it's all because we get into that panicky state that we start doing crazy things like going out shopping all day and overspend. And I don't know if anyone else has done this, but I've bought presents throughout the year because I thought I was being clever, and then bought more presents around Christmas time, and then later on opened the wardrobe and gone, oh my God, I've got these presents as well. So you can overspend, and your head is in a bad place as well, because you just can't juggle all those thoughts in your mind. So the idea is to avoid all those overspending, overeating, and all the rest of it, and the stress, so that you can enjoy a really magical Christmas, because Christmas is so magical, especially if you've got children. It's just the best time ever, and we want you to be really present for it. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So over to you, Taryn.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, just listening to you there, Emily, I know I was just thinking about a couple of things myself. I've definitely got presents in my cupboard right now which were bought last year, trying to be organised for last year's Christmas. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that, Emily, as well. And also we want to sort of talk a little bit with you about managing your expectations. So we're going to be talking about what the perfect Christmas looks like to you, and it's to do with sort of managing your expectations from that perfect Christmas to think about what you want to get from Christmas beforehand. What do you expect from Christmas? What does sort of success look like to you? And if you make that expectation now and set that expectation to be nice and achievable. So for me, my biggest expectation of Christmas is that we have fun. So what does that mean to me? It means that I might be thinking about all of the things that I want to happen to have fun, but I'm going to think about also the things that, does it really matter if I did miss a Christmas present that I've still got in the cupboard over there now ready for this year? That's okay, because we've all had fun. So managing your expectations for Christmas, but also for business owners out there as well, it's about managing your expectation about what you're going to achieve during December. So what things can you let go of that you might not, you might be able to sort of put those to one side, maybe till January or the new year. And what things do you really, really need to do during December, during that Christmas period? Towards the end of the call, I'm going to be talking about a few top tips as to how you can do that. Okay, so back to you, Emily.
Yeah, that's brilliant about having fun, because the thing I wanted to talk about was being able to laugh at yourself. And if things go wrong, just don't sweat it at all, because I've had experiences in the past as a child, when something went wrong and there's this horrible atmosphere because, okay, say the potatoes get burnt, and it's like everybody, especially the grown-ups, have this expectation that they're going to have the perfect day. And then if something goes wrong, it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've ruined the whole day. And actually, you haven't ruined the day. You've just ruined the potatoes. So the best thing you can do is to just have a laugh about it and take the lead. Because if something goes wrong, everyone's going to be looking at you to say, is that okay? Have we got away with this? And if you can just laugh and say, oh, well, never mind. We're not having potatoes. Let's have something else instead. Then it just takes the pressure off. And for mums in particular, it's great modelling for your children. If you can say, when something goes wrong, do you know what, let's have a laugh about it. They will see that. They'll pick up on it and go, okay, when something happens in my life that I don't really like, I'll be able to have a laugh about it and just not get so stressed about it. So it's really good. And the worst things make the best stories, I can remember, this is way back when Andy and I, we were living in Putney, and we boiled one of those Christmas puddings in the pan. You put it in a saucepan, but we'd had this bottle of red wine. It was amazing. It was from Lebanon or something. And we just fell asleep on the sofa, and then we got woken up by the fire alarm, and the plastic pot that the pudding was in was completely melded to the saucepan. And obviously it was all ruined. And it's a good story. It was funny. Another friend of mine, they had their family round. They had a massive turkey, and they carved it up. They had the legs, and they were like, there's not much breast meat. Everyone was having really small pieces of turkey, and they were going, oh, well, it's deceptively small amount of turkey for such a big bird. When they got to the end of the meal and they were tidying up, they realized they had it upside down. So all the breast meat was underneath, and they'd been carving, I don't know what the other bit would be, its armpits or something. So it made a really good story, and they laughed about it. And I think that's the important thing. If things go wrong, just have a laugh. Don't you agree, Taryn?
Yes, I can definitely relate to a few stories like that as well myself. But I think what we'd like to share with you is to think about the concept of seeing it from the other people's perspective. So your children's perspective, maybe your partner's perspective, maybe the family that are visiting you, to see it from their perspective. So perhaps imagine that scenario where you're in the kitchen, your worst nightmare's happening, you're burning everything, the timing's all gone wrong, people are starting to get a little bit restless in the other room. They're thinking about when their dinner's coming, and it's just all gone wrong. What you want to try and do is, when you're feeling really stressing, maybe your partner comes in the kitchen to ask you if he can do anything to help, and you bite his head off because it's all gone wrong and it's all just a horrible atmosphere. It's happened before. I'm sure people have had stories that they can relate to for that. But if you just see if you can step into their shoes, so maybe step into your children's shoes when all this is going on, step into your partner's shoes, or even the mother-in-law, step into her shoes. And if, for example, if fun was your idea of, what you want from Christmas, as Emily was saying, you know, if you can just make a joke of it, make light of it. So what if you've got to go and get a takeout for Christmas Day? It's a new adventure, isn't it? So see it from the children's perspective. If fun is what you're looking for from Christmas, when things might be going wrong, or even just when you're planning and you're having your day, just think about it from their point of view. So also to think about the business perspective as well, thinking about how much you're hoping to do whilst you're having your Christmas break. Perhaps you need to keep the business running a little bit. So maybe you need to check your phone now and again. Maybe you need to hop onto the computer. But think about the right times of day to do that. I'll be giving you a few tips later on, but just see it from the children's perspective again. So when your phone goes and you're looking at your phone, you're texting, and maybe your daughter says to you, "Oh, come on, Mum, you're on the phone all the time." Do you really want that to be happening over Christmas? So just think ahead. If you are going to be needing to check in text, maybe you can be in the kitchen on your own when you're cooking dinner, just have a quick look then. But see it from their point of view as well. So I hope that helps. Back to you, Emily.
Yeah, I love that, Taryn, definitely. Okay, so now we're just going to move on to the perfect Christmas, because we all want the perfect Christmas. But I just want you to have a little think about where you get your version of perfect from. So for many of us, it might be our childhood Christmas. It might be a film we've seen. It could be the last John Lewis advert, probably not this one, or a Marks and Spencer's advert that we've seen, where family is all happy and the music's playing and the lights are twinkling, and you just think, that's what I want. And I just want you to realize that perfect is very individual. So what you think is perfect might not be what I think is perfect, and you need to not buy into someone else's version just because it's been on TV or because it looks really good, and really tune in to what you want. So just to give you some examples of how people do things differently. When I was little, we used to open one present before breakfast, and then we'd open another present before we went to church, and then we'd have one more present before lunch. So it would get to like 1 o'clock and we'd had 3 presents. Whereas my husband, when he was a kid, they used to get up in the morning and open everything within like 10 minutes of being awake. So his version of like perfect would be to open everything, and mine was like, oh, I think I'd like to take my time. So you have to have some compromise. And I think the best way to think of it is like a buffet. So imagine a buffet with all the food. There's the roast, there's the curry, there's the salads. You know, you can pick and choose what you like. You might think, well, I quite like what they do in Denmark. They open their Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, or I quite like what they do, you know, what I did as a child, or I quite like what I've seen them do. You know, pick and choose, but really make it your Christmas, because I absolutely love traditions, but make them your traditions. Don't buy into someone else's traditions. It really is your Christmas, and you can do whatever you like. And to give you another example, last year I did a little video series about Christmas, and one of the ladies that I've worked with came to me afterwards, and she said, you know, we took your advice and we didn't have a turkey at Christmas because none of us were that fussed, and we really wanted, well, the kids in particular really wanted shepherd's pie. So she said, we just had shepherd's pie for Christmas, and they loved it. You know, you don't have to buy into the whole what everybody else does. Make your own traditions, and make some really crazy random traditions. It will make it really, really good fun. Okay, any traditions on your side, Taryn?
Yes, yeah, and I think about sort of when we've gone to the children's nanny's house or something like that, where she's had her traditions, and sometimes, like you were saying, you perhaps feel that you need to keep those same ones going. But yeah, we have some really nice traditions. We have sort of stocking in the afternoon. I've heard a very nice tradition to do with doing the pajama thing on Christmas Eve, where you have perhaps a little pack for all of the family, where you get some brand new pajamas, and perhaps whether you have a film night or something like that, you just chill out together. You might all get ready, you know, have your shower and get ready for bed early and put your new pajamas on, ready for Christmas Eve, ready for Santa coming. So there's one that I can think of. Definitely, that's something that we're going to be doing this year, just to make it a little bit different as well this year as the children get a bit older. So I guess one of the things that we were going to talk about next as well was to do with family values at Christmas time, having a set of Christmas values. So where we've been talking about expectations, we've been talking about the perfect Christmas. I've got a little exercise for you to do with your family, or you can have a go at it now. This is something that I've often done with my clients, and this relates to life in general. So we look at what your values are for life, but today we're going to look at them for Christmas. So if you do have a pen and paper to hand, if not, you can do this later. What you want to do is just jot down 5 things that you value about Christmas, and see if you can try and put those in order. So you might have one thing that really pops to the top of that list and you think, yes, that's my main value. You know, for example, one of mine is love. I'm sure many of you will be sharing that one as well. Love and connection at Christmas time, but having your family all together. Another one for me is fun. They come quite near the top of my list. I haven't done this with my family, and I think I'm going to go away and do it after today. But if you get your family members to do exactly the same exercise, just say to them, what is important to you about Christmas? And if possible, see if you can get to the emotion of it. So for example, if it was presents, so the kids are probably going to have presents somewhere on that. What you want to do is ask them, what does that give you? So that present, how does that make you feel? What is it that it gives you? So for example, one of those ones for me, it might be having family around. So what does that give me? That emotion, that gives me love. So love is my value. And I think if you do this little exercise, and if you try to keep your Christmas values at the heart of your Christmas, instead of that perfect expectation of what everybody thinks your Christmas should look like, and if you're all on the same page, or at least if you've done this together just for a bit of fun, if you're all on the same page, or at least near the same page, so say as a family you come up with your top 3 Christmas values, then your planning can work around those. I hope that does that make sense? It's about working out what is important to you and what's not important. So if the potatoes aren't important, as Emily said, if you've got to swap the turkey for a shepherd's pie, then do it. If that's what's important to you, then that's fantastic. It's about you guys being happy at Christmas. So I hope that's helpful to you, and we'll get back to Emily now.
I love that, Karen. I'm definitely going to do that actually, because I think this brings me brilliantly onto the next topic, which is making it a team effort. So I am really, really big on delegating. And I think if you have a little chat and say, what are the family values and what do we want to get out of Christmas? And you have that, oh, I want to be with the family and I want it to be relaxed and full of love, then that's a perfect segue to say, so mummy's going to need a little bit of help to make this happen. And I'm a big believer in having family meetings. We don't have them every week or anything, but it's a really good time. You just sit down and say, okay, this is what I've got planned for Christmas. We want to have a beautifully decorated house. We want to have a nice meal. We want everybody to be relaxed. And in order to do this, I need these jobs done. And then you can say to your little ones, I mean, even really little ones can help out, which job would you like to do? Because when you give them that choice, then they feel some sort of, power and control, and I've picked this job. And I can remember, it must have been a couple of years ago, we gave Jake the job of loo roll monitor, which is not extremely glamorous job, but he had to go around the toilet, and if he saw that the loo roll was running low, he had to go to the cupboard, get a new one and replace it. And it's a very small job, I know, but it's one less thing that I don't have to do. So I'm all for delegating. And another point I wanted to make with delegating is that as mums, we are so good at giving. Okay, we give our time, we give our energy, we give our love, we give everything. It's just our default setting. But we're actually pretty rubbish at receiving as a rule. And it's just so nice to be able to receive for the other person. Okay. Last week or the week before, a friend of mine rang up and she says, I've got a meeting in the morning. Can you take my children to school? And it was so nice for me to be able to do something for her. And she was able to receive. And I just think when you've got relatives round and they say, can I help peel a carrot? Say, yes, you can. Because they'll think, oh, brilliant. I'm earning my keep. I'm not just sat on the sofa being waited on. I'm actually contributing, and it will make them feel really good. So definitely start delegating to family. And then carrying on from that, to give you more time, think outside the box. So delegating can be things like online shopping. Get your food delivered, get your presents delivered. You know, I've been doing a lot of this in the evening. When the kids are in bed, I'm online deciding what presents people are going to get and ordering them, and they're just going to come through the post. It's just a bit mad. Postman's constantly at our door, but I'm not really a shopping person. So for me, that's perfect. And another way to ease your workload, I was looking at Jib Jab. Have you heard of them, Taryn? The people that do those email cards.
Oh yes, yeah,
So
a bit like Moonpig.
you upload little pictures of your family, and then they've got a cartoon of elves, and they stick your family's heads on, and you're dancing around, and you could just email everyone this little card. It would be funny, it's personal, it's from you, it's got your picture on, things like that. Just think outside the box. How can I make this done? How can I get someone else to do the work for me? So yes, delegate, my favorite word. It's not the time to be a hero or a martyr, definitely.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I can certainly relate to that. You know, when somebody comes in the kitchen that's visited and they say, oh, is there anything I can do to help? And you say, oh, no, it's okay, thanks, I'm fine. But actually, in the back of your mind, if you'd have thought about it, I'm sure you could have given them something to make your life a little bit easier. So, yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. And I guess just going on from your point about shopping, getting the food shopping in, I know on some of the stores, when you do your online shopping, you can have your basket open and you can save it, and then you can add to it. So you don't even have to do that in one go. If you think, oh, I've forgotten to put the sprouts on there, then you can go in there and add the sprouts, and it's no biggie. Whereas if you've sort of scheduled in your diary that you're going to do the shop on X date, you've forgotten something, you've got to go back on Christmas Eve and fight everybody for the shopping trolley, let alone the sprouts. It's a complete nightmare, isn't it? So it's definitely about finding ways to make life easy on yourself. Definitely. Cool. So I think our next point that we were going to move on to was to do with planning, and I know that Emily's got some amazing planners for you, so I can't wait to see those. I'm just going to touch on a little bit to do with the business side of things. We mentioned that I was going to share some business tips with you, but I'm going to touch on the planning side of things for Christmas just a tiny bit, because this relates to the business too. So what you want to think about is, if you put Christmas at the end of that plan, so if you had like a timeline, put Christmas at the end of the plan and think about Christmas Eve. So what needs to happen before you get to Christmas Eve? Pick yourself a little halfway point, and then work out what needs to happen by then. You know, how much of the Christmas shopping do you want to have done by halfway? So what's that, 14th, 15th or something like that? How much of the wrapping do you want to have done? What point do you want to get at? And then chunk it backwards. So we will be talking about those in the tips anyway. But my contribution to do with, from a business point of view, when you're running a business, think about now, what date are you going to stop? What date are you actually going to completely drop the business? Can you drop the business, even if it's just for a couple of days, even if it's Christmas Day and Boxing Day at the absolute least? Pick a date when you're going to stop. Think about it from the point of view of, if you were working from an employer, when would you go home for Christmas and have that break? Block that out in your timeline or your diary. You can block out, I would recommend that you block out your family stuff first. So anything to do with Christmas, whether it's pantomimes, whether it's going round to see the family, block that out first, and then decide when are you going to do your work bits. So if you're like me and you've got slightly older children and they like to have a lie-in, and over the Christmas holiday, chances are my children probably won't be up before 10, and when they do, they're going to be on the sofa with their duvet because it's school holidays, and they're probably going to be there for an hour watching a film, or watching bits and pieces while they wake up gradually. So my plan is to check my emails first thing in the morning whilst they're on their Christmas holidays, so that then I can get rid of that. I don't have to go back onto the emails only when I choose to. So I'm going to do that when the children are already occupied or lazing about. There is not going to be that time that I want to spend special time with the children. We talk about being present a lot. So when I'm present to the children, I want to be present to the children. When I'm present to work, I want to be present to work. So pick those times wisely. Think about, when you're ready to stop as well. And another little tip that I'll leave you with as well before we pass back to Emily is to think about all of the things that you think you need to get done, all of the jobs that in your head you're saying to yourself, really got to get that done before Christmas, from a work point of view or maybe even from a home point of view too. So all your tasks that you've got to get done, pop those on what I like to call a brain dump. Just scribble them all out on a piece of paper and then start thinking about prioritizing those, and maybe just pick 2 or 3 things each day so that you don't get too overwhelmed and bogged down, because the last thing you want to do is be snapping at the kids because you're stressed out about because you haven't got something done that you really needed to do for work. So by chunking those things down and just thinking, right, well, if I achieve 3 things each day, maybe it depends on how much you want to do over the Christmas period, but just pick little and often, pick the right time of day to do them, and then that way you can be completely present to your family over Christmas. So I hope that helps, and I'll hand you back to Emily.
Brilliant. Okay, so now we're getting on to the practical tips. So as you may remember from the email, there's going to be these downloads, checklists, and I'm just going to go through with them because honestly, having a plan makes your life so much easier. I mean, I'm a list person. I'm sure that the people watching this are list people as well. It's just the best thing ever, but you need to make sure you haven't dropped any balls, so you need to remember everything. So what I've done is I've written these, the first 2, if you can see there, that's a Christmas planner. So that's just your days from 1 to 26. And then you've got this Christmas planner items. So on here, you've got all the things, like Taryn was saying, things like pantomimes. So first thing, have you bought one of these? It's the first, so hopefully that will be on the top of your list. Advent calendar. So I've got things like sort the budget, Christmas cards, buy, write, dates for sending. It's important to know if you've got to send a card to America or wherever you've got relatives or friends, you kind of want to know when that cutoff is so that you can get it to them. When your nativity play is, a lot of us have to do costumes, create, I don't know, donkey outfits or something random, making sure if you're working for an employee, you've got the time off. Getting teachers' cards and presents. I've been caught out a few times going to school going, oh my God, it is the last day and I haven't bought anything for the children. Yes, so you need to get that done. Decorating the house, getting the tree, making a cake if you want to make a cake, getting presents. So basically you have your generic list of all the things you want to do, and then the idea is to put them in the planner on the day you want to do them. So actually say, like on the 16th, that's when I'm going to do my Christmas shopping. Or maybe have a second day, or I'm going to do it on the 8th and the 16th, but have it in there, and then the rest of your day works around it, rather than getting on with your day thinking, oh, I must do some shopping, and then the next day happens and you've got your washing, your ironing, your work, and you don't get around to it, and then you start the panicking thing sets in. So Christmas planner items, stick them on the Christmas planner, and then the next printout we've got is your Christmas budget. Okay, so this goes back to what we were saying at the beginning about being really broke in January. I always spend more than I should and more than I want to. So for me, having a budget is a really good idea. So if you look here, it's got things like cards, presents for immediate family, presents for extended family, presents for teachers, how much you want to spend on food, how much on costumes or outfits. If you've got a party, it's really nice to get yourself a new outfit, but it might be that you've got other things that you'd rather spend the money on. Tree decorations, nights out, we all like to go out. It's just knowing how much you've got and how much you've got to spend. So have your budget, planned budget, and then you can write your actual budget. And if you spend less on tree and decorations, then you've got a bit more to spend on your food or your booze. So that's good. And then Christmas gifts. I'm just going through them really quickly, but I hope they're really helpful. So again, here we go. Name, budget, gift, when you've wrapped it, and what date you're going to see them or when you're going to send it to them. Because I've been caught out before. I buy a present for somebody and I wrap it, and I'm not actually seeing them till Boxing Day. And the person that I'm seeing on the 15th, I haven't got their present yet. So if you know you're seeing your relatives on, say, the 21st, write the date that you're seeing them, the 21st, and then get your present, get it wrapped so that you're ready for that date. And again, the budget thing, if you know you've got 20, 10, 15, whatever your budget is for relatives, friends, then stick to it. And then you'll know you're not going to spend an absolute fortune over Christmas. So hopefully that'll be an invaluable tool. And then finally, we've got the Christmas food budget, because again, that's another one where we can all go a little bit mad. You know, I'm sort of walking down the aisles of the supermarket and I'm like, oh, a few little sausage rolls and the party food, and let's have a bottle of this and a bottle of that. And it can all get a bit mad and a bit out of hand. So if you've got a budget, and then you can do it for your Christmas Eve meals, your Christmas Day, Boxing Day, have it all written down. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my God, that's too much work. However, a little bit of planning now is going to save you so much time and save you money. So I really would recommend it. Oh, and there's a Christmas card list as well, because that's another thing that happens. Sometimes I get cards from people and I'm like, oh my God, I've forgotten to send them a card. So it's quite nice to keep a record of who sent you a card and who you sent to, so that the following year you won't forget them or miss them off. So I really hope those are helpful. I think planning is the key to having a stress-free Christmas. So if you get everything organised, you know what days you're going to do everything. When it comes to Christmas Day, you really should be able to sit back and relax knowing you've done an awesome job, and you're going to be so serene, maybe a little bit tipsy. You're going to be enjoying all the games and having fun, and I really hope that's what comes true for you.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you, Emily. And one of the things that I'd like to finish off with is to do with gratitude. So when we think about all of the things that we've talked about during the call today, one of the things as well, which I think does lead to gratitude in a way, when we were talking about having the perfect Christmas, having our expectations, also when we think about things like, you know, looking at other people's perspectives and things like that, all of this planning and things that we've talked about on the call today, we hope that those will give you the opportunity to think about how you want Christmas to be, what success looks like for you, to plan for an amazing Christmas. But also, and this is really, really important, is to let go of the outcome. It will be what it will be. You will have put, you know, if you're listening to this hangout and you're taking on board all those tips that we've given you, you're using your planners, you've done everything that you can to have an amazing Christmas, and you deserve one. You work so hard throughout the whole year that I think sometimes people forget to just, once they've done all that planning, to just let it go. Let the outcome go and let it be what it's going to be, and you'll enjoy it so much more as well. The last thing that we'd like to talk about today is gratitude. Don't know how many of you have heard of The Secret, the Law of Attraction, those sorts of things. If those sorts of things interest you, I would definitely say, you know, read the Law of Attraction. The things that you can be grateful for. If you can, I don't know if anybody ever has a gratitude journal or anything like that, where they just jot down at the end of the evening the things that they're grateful for, things that they're proud of, the people that they love. So when we think about Christmas, the more that you can be grateful for the fact that perhaps, you know, you've got your family all together, that you all love each other dearly, that you're having fun, you know, all of those things that you're enjoying over the Christmas break. If you can take some time to be grateful for those things, that you'll start to receive more and more of those things as well. So it's a little bit like the law of attraction there. So being grateful for each other's company, the people that you're with, you know, the roof over your head. Something as simple as that. I'm sure that there is a lot that we can all be grateful for to enjoy a fantastic Christmas. So this ends our call. We do have some extra bonuses for you as well, as a massive thank you for spending time listening to us today. We hope that you've enjoyed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Emily, and Emily's going to tell you a little bit about the what she's got for you as a special bonus from today. So I'll just pass over to Emily now for you.
Thanks, Taryn. Yes, and definitely the gratitude thing. I mean, just sometimes just sitting on the sofa and having a cuddle with your little ones and just thinking, wow, I am so lucky just to have this opportunity to cuddle them. It's just amazing. So yes, make gratitude a really big part of your Christmas. So what I'd like to offer today is a discovery session. If you haven't heard of a discovery session, it's a 1-hour complimentary call. And what I like to do is to take the ladies that I work with on a sort of journey of discovery. So I work out or find out from them where they want to be, what their dreams are, their desires are, and then we look at where they are now, and then we look at the obstacles in the way and see what the next plan of action is. And it sounds quite a simple process, but actually it's very rare that you can sit down with someone for an hour and really look deep into your heart and work out what you want out of life. And because normally if you start a conversation like that with a friend, they'll jump in, or they'll try and solve any problems you have, or they'll say, oh yeah, I want that as well, or interrupt you in some way, or life just interrupts. So this is a real gift to give yourself, to have that time to discover where you want to be, because only when you know where you want to go can you start on that path. And I want everybody to have that. So if you do want a discovery session with me, just drop me an email at happyworkingmum@gmail.com, and we'll set up a time for the new year and get started.
Wow, fantastic. I think I'm going to be taking up one of those myself. Is that all right, Emily?
Of course it is.
Fabulous. Brilliant, thank you. So just in addition to that, I'd like to offer something very special for you as well. What I've done is I've put together a couple of kind of DIY things for you. So what those are, I'm gonna pop a link up to a special web page where you can actually have a little read through as well, so that you can see exactly what you get. But they are 2 modules. So the first one is all about closing the door on this year. So this will relate, if you're a mum in small business, what you'll be doing is looking at everything over this last year. Look at what's gone well, look at what's perhaps what's not gone so well, what have you learned, those sorts of things. I'll be taking you through a series of questions to help you to close the door on this year that we've just had, ready to kind of bash away the cobwebs and get ready for the following year, to have an amazing year next year. And what's involved there, you've got a video, there'll be a workbook as well, so it'll have all the questions in, and an audio so that you can listen to it over again if you want to listen to it a couple of times. And the other thing as well that I've got for you is to do with next year as well. So it's an action planner, and you can create your vision for the whole of the year ahead, to see what you'd like to achieve in your small business in the year ahead. And it's got lots of other planners. These won't be Christmas planners, these will be planners to do with the year ahead, to break down your goals and things and dreams for the next year. So what I'm actually doing today, normally those products would be £67 each. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a very special bundle for you, and you'll receive both of those products, both of which have got a video and an audio and a workbook for you to work through in your own time. And those are going to be just £49. So I'm only going to be able to keep that open for a week because it's a very popular product at this time of year especially. So for the next week you can take those products for just £49, and we'll leave the web page up for you on the bottom of this recording so that you can find that page and you can just click through. It's also got Emily's details on as well, so that if you'd like to book your session with Emily, which I highly recommend, I shall be booking mine when I get off the call, Emily. I'd highly recommend one of those, but it's got all the details on there. I've put Emily's email address up for you as well, just to remind you to make sure that you get those booked as well. So thank you so much for all your time today listening to our call. We hope that it's been really productive for you, so that you take on board lots of tips to have a fantastic Christmas and you can relax, and as I say, just let go of the outcome. It's going to be what it's going to be. You can put all the preparation in and then just relax into it and have fun. So thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you on the other side. I'll send you the We'll pop up that link for you so that you can look at the details of our bonuses, and I'll just pass back to Emily so that she can say goodbye too. Thank you.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone. I just want to say have a totally bonkers and happy Christmas, and I hope you make lots of new traditions and are full of gratitude. So have a brilliant Christmas, everyone. Bye.